Hey everyone, welcome back. So there's quite a few things that we need to talk about. Obviously, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on in the charts with Bitcoin. It is battling with the resistance and also the 200 weekly moving average. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at also the miners, see how they did today. Today wasn't a really good day for them, obviously, because Bitcoin has come down. So we'll take a look at that as well. And then we also have Iris Energy July update, and we got also Marathon Digital second quarter results and July update a little bit. It was a little cryptic, but we got all the data that I think that we needed to get out of it. So we'll get into all that. So as always, you guys know the drill here. I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. Also not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. You know the drill. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin on the one day chart right now is down to 23,172. We did obviously have a pretty good rally here during the day earlier, but we've obviously fallen back down. We did hit a high of 23,929. As you can see, we're obviously battling with the resistance, which is at 23,800. Let's switch back over to the 1 hour chart, and you can see how this kind of played out here throughout the day. We did obviously go above it, and then we fell below it, rose back above it, and then continued to fall below it. And we bounced off of the 200 weekly moving average right here. You can see it. This was back 9 o'clock in the morning, it looks like, today. And we only have about, what do we got? About another hour and a half before we switch over to the new day on Bitcoin price. Obviously, RSI on the 1 hour chart has come way down, so it looks like we might be going back up a little bit. And we have been battling with, obviously, the resistance and the 200 weekly moving average as a support. So we're kind of bouncing between it. Hopefully, the more times that we touch this resistance line, then we are able to go above it and continue to stay above it. That's at least the hope there is. Ethereum is at 1,701 right now. Let me turn this off and you can see the chart a little bit better. It has obviously fallen pretty low as well, just like Bitcoin did, and it is oversold here, and it is coming back up in price. I think the reason that we are going down in price right now is because we have the CPI data coming out tomorrow, which was going to be interesting to see if we're lower than the 9.1 that we were in June. So obviously this is for July CPI data. Hopefully we're below it and we continue to stay below it every month thereafter. So we'll see what that data is like tomorrow. We'll take a look at it as well. We'll cover it here and we'll go over it a little bit along with some other stuff that's happening in the market. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the miners, the markets, everything else. So let's get into the miners here really quick. ANY was up 0.77% to 73 cents today. Argo was up 0.53% to 50 cents. Bitdigital was down 8.02% to $1.49. Bitfarms was down 7.10% to $1.57. Cleanspark was down 5.26% to $4.68. Cores was down 5.35% to $2.83. DigiHost was flat. DMG was down 4.11% to 29 cents. Greenidge was down 4.96% to $3.64. High was down 0.54% to $5.50. Hut 8 was down 2.8% to $2.43. Iris Energy was down 1.47% to $5.35. Luxfolio was down 19.28%. Well, this one's really wild. Back down to 10 cents. Marathon was down 2.22% to $14.11. Mawson was down 8.19% to 83 cents. Rye was down 6.49% to $8.15. And Stronghold was down 10.25, it looks like, to $2.54. So obviously a pretty down day in the markets, I think, as well, and in miners and in Bitcoin as well. So triple whammy in the markets. So let's get into the news story here that we do have, and we'll get into obviously Marathon, Cleanspark announcement, and then just let you guys know that Cleanspark obviously provided their financials. I'll be going over that tonight after I return back from a birthday party. So I'll be doing that either tonight or tomorrow sometime, and then I'll provide you guys my feedback on all that stuff. So Iris Energy announces monthly investor update for July. We're not going to go too deep into the woods on this, but we'll go over it for the main topics, obviously, that we're looking at. So key metrics, average operating hash rate was at 1.117. I have them at 1.165, I believe, right now. So a little bit lower than what I have them at, and I'm not sure why that's the case. Bitcoin mined was 154 BTC for the month. Mining revenue was, I'm guessing it's going to be in millions, so 3.3 million roughly, and electricity cost is 1.3 million, so approximately expenses about 30, what is that going to be, 34%, 35% as their electrical expense on the Bitcoin mining, which is pretty good. So then that leaves them with about 65% profit percentage-wise, which would be pretty good. And they go into their updates here, corporate updates. Operations, constructions, we've gone through this below. There's not much anything else here. They did, obviously, we reported this earlier in the week or last week that they are increasing from 4.3 to 6 exahash by the end of the year this year, which is good news as well. And that was it for them. So let's take a look at my spreadsheet here on them, and we'll get into the other ones here. So Iris Energy, currently at 535. Shares outstanding is about 55 million. Market cap is about 294 million right now. BTC HODL, they don't have anything, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we can see that they mined 154 BTC in July, 148 in June, 151 in May. So this is the most that they've mined here in the last 6 months, 7 months. And they continue to grow every month, it looks like. So it's good. Slow, steady growth, but I mean, it's really slow. It doesn't look like they installed any miners here since May, from what I'm seeing here on the data. Like I said, I have 1.1 at 1165. They had it at 1117. So I'm a little high on it based on what they reported. So I don't know if they got rid of some miners, turned off some miners, or what's going on there. But they're saying on average. So they could be at 1.165, but on average, they're mining per day at 1.117 roughly. So they gave us a revenue of about 3.589. I think they reported that they were at 3.38 million. So that's kind of what we have them here for a revenue. And obviously we didn't install any miners here for them in July. So we kept it as is. We only changed the amount of days that they were actually mining here to 29 days to get us to that number that we wanted to get to. They still have obviously a long ways to go before they are done with all of their reported purchases of miners. Institution-wise, we have still 40 institutions. Shares decreased a little bit to 9.25 million, and percentage owned also decreased to 16.82%. Ratings, 1 strong, 3 buy, so that's a decrease from the month prior. 1 hold, and we are at $22 for the high price target, $17 for the average, and $14 for the low. And here are my numbers, what I'm looking at right now. So we're looking at current quarter is about going to be 10.6 million. Depending on how many miners they get installed in August and September, obviously that's going to have an effect on it, along with the Bitcoin price. And the last 3 quarters, we're looking at about 48.7 million. So a combined total of 59 million in total. And if we look at 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at about 29.6 million. And using the PE of 20, that'd be between $10.79. And since their profit margin is about 64% or so, they should be somewhere around in between here. So maybe around $12, $13 at 20 PE. And at 75% net income from gross revenue, we would be at $16.19. So not too far off from what the estimates are saying right now, but they are only 7.65% installed from future hash rate, which they were supposed to be at 15. They've obviously slowed things down a little bit with Bitcoin coming down in price, but they are still going to get to possibly 6 exahash by the end of the year, it sounds like. So that's good news. So my take on it is I would like to see more growth in them from month to month. I mean, it seems like they've kind of flatlined here the last couple of months, so we obviously need to see more miners getting installed. That would be a good thing. And getting more BTC, obviously, that comes with getting more miners installed. But otherwise, no qualms here for Iris Energy. But they obviously have to execute on their expansion and growth here. So that's the only concern there. All right, so that's it for Iris. Let's take a look at Marathon right now, and we'll call it a day pretty much. So here's Marathon's press release from yesterday. And yesterday they did not provide the 10Q forms for the SEC. Those weren't provided until today. So I started going over those today after work. And this is just to show you guys, this is from yesterday. It's on their website, August 8th. And then they go into management commentary. Not really too worried about this. Second quarter financials. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but I wanted to go over the July update. So here's some highlights as well. So energization of previously installed miners hosted with Compute North in West Texas commenced after the power provider received confirmation of the tax-exempt status of the wind farm that supplies energy to the 280 megawatt Bitcoin mining facility. So that's obviously good news there. They're finally getting those possibly energized. Total number of miners installed and awaiting energization across all facilities increased to approximately 49,000 miners, which equates to about 4.7 exahash as of July 31st. And then year-to-date through July 31st, 2022, produced 2,038 Bitcoin, a 58% increase over the same time period a year ago. So they obviously didn't provide exactly how much they mined in July, but they did provide how much they mined through the beginning of the year, basically from January to now. But we have the data, so we can kind of figure out what they actually mined on that. And then benefited from the downward market price adjustment for the 13,000 S19 XPs set to ship in August. Benefits from the price adjustment expected to continue as remaining XPs are shipped in September through December timeframe. And then total Bitcoin holdings increased to 10,127 BTC with a fair market value of $236.3 million as of July 31st, 2022, which is good. We've already covered this credit facility that's been restructured. And here is the installation and miner energization. So in July 22, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, issued an order confirming the exempt status of the wind farm where over 68,000 Marathon's miners representing 6.8 exahash are being installed and hosted by Compute North in West Texas. With the exempt status confirmed, this facility, along with the miners Compute North and Marathon proactively installed, are now being energized. Currently, approximately 40,000 miners representing 3.9 exahash are already installed at this facility. Based on the latest construction schedules, this facility is expected to be completed with all of Marathon's miners installed in September. So that's obviously a good sign there. And then based on current construction installation schedules provided to the company by its hosting providers, Marathon currently expects to have enough miners installed to generate 23.3 exahash in the middle of the fiscal year of 2023. And mining fleet update. So this is on their Hardin facility in Montana. So in April, Marathon announced its intention to transition out of the facility in Hardin, Montana. On July 28, 2022, the company's terminated its power purchase agreements and commenced the acceleration of its exit from Hardin. The Bitcoin mining servers that are on site are in the process of being inventoried and removed from the facility and will be sold or redeployed to other locations in the near future. So we'll have to see if there's any updates to hash rate, obviously, total hash rate afterwards when this does happen. And that is it for this one. So let's get into the spreadsheet and we'll come back to the actual results for them. So here is Marathon. Marathon obviously has about 106 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $14.11. Market cap is about 1.5 billion right now. Current hash rate is about 600 petahash or so. I have it at 3.9, and that's basically so I don't mess up my spreadsheet. But I'll show you what I have for them as far as what they were mining it, or at least comparative in how many days. So 72.3 Bitcoins is kind of what we figured out as based on that they had mined 1,965.7 in the last 6 months. And they provided that they had mined 2,000 something, what was it? Over here someplace, there it is, 2,038. So we subtracted that number, 2,038 minus the 1,965.7, came up with 72.3 is what they actually mined in July. That equates to about 1.68 million in revenue for them, which is abysmal, right? Obviously, they've had a lot of challenges here. And you can see here in January, they were making 17, 15, 19 million, 11 million, 8.5, and then 2.8, and then 1.6, 1.7 roughly. So not a good sign for Marathon, but hopefully they can turn things around. They've obviously had problems with the Hardin facility. They had problems getting the miners energized through Compute North because of the non-tax exempt status thing. So hopefully the worst is behind them now, and they can actually start getting miners installed and getting to their guided hash rate of 23.3 exahash by sometime next year. So that's the plan there. I show that I don't know if they sold any. I doubt that they would have sold only, $6 worth or $6,000 worth of BTC. So somewhere along the line, either my numbers are off or what they provide is off by a little bit, which isn't that bad. We're off by 0.3 BTC basically from what they had the year, month prior to what they have now, and then what they actually possibly mined. So rounding error basically on that one. And let's take a look at the numbers here. So July, we have them at mining possibly 4 1/3 day that month, which would possibly be the 600 some odd petahash equivalent on that, which came out to be about $1.68 million in revenue. And I think it's mostly, if it was 600 petahash, we're looking at all these miners being shut down and possibly only like these over here and these over here running possibly. I don't know where each miner is located, so it's just an estimate. And then we'll see what obviously August is like for them. So not a good month so far. And then institutions did decrease to 320 from 336. However, shares did increase to 42.45 million, and percentage owned increased to 39.93 from 39.41. We still have 3 strong buy ratings, 5 buy ratings, 1 hold rating. Price target is still 35. Average went down to 1870, and low stayed the same at 70. So that is fine there. And finally, we got, for the current quarter, we're looking at possibly 25.93. That's if they get the miners back installed to get them close to that 3.9 exahash or above that. That would be with August and September, obviously, helping that out. Otherwise, July was a really, really bad month for them, 1.6, like I said. So that's kind of what we're looking at the current quarter. Last 3 quarters, we're looking at a total of about 136 million, and this is the provided numbers, so those aren't my estimates. I was off. Well, we'll get into it here, but I was off, obviously, a little bit. And combined total would be about 162 million on it. So if we're looking at 50% net income from gross revenue, they would be roughly at $15.32, which is pretty close to where they are right now. Their profit margin was a little bit less than that for Q2. We'll get into that as well in a little bit, and we'll discuss it as well. But if they got it closer to 75, they'd be looking at 22.98. So I think right now they are pretty fairly valued for what they have and where they are right now. But once they start getting miners obviously installed and start making more money, I could easily see the price obviously going up based on just revenue. And hopefully they can get also their profit percentage increase because, well, we'll take a look at it now. So right now, like I said, they're pretty fairly valued. They obviously still have a lot of miners to get installed, so the future looks bright for them right now, and they may pop like they did last time when Bitcoin started going up. They went up to almost $80 or something like that per share. So we'll see. All right, let's take a look at the financial results here for them, and we'll call it a day. So I was waiting for this to pop up yesterday. It didn't pop up, and I didn't get this information until today. So here's what we got for them as far as assets. Cash and cash equivalents was 86.4 million. That's obviously a huge decrease from the 268 million in December of 2021. Total current assets is 362 million. In December it was 688. So obviously a pretty big drawdown there, almost half of that. And total liabilities. Total assets is 1.5 billion, pretty much where the stock market cap is right now. And total current liabilities here is 90.14 million, up from 13.7. So that's actually not good. Well, it's not bad, but it obviously increased quite a bit. And total long-term liabilities is about 759 million compared to 751 in December. So we'll take a look at the ratios here in a minute. And then total stockholder equity is 659.4 million. And total liability and stockholder equity is 1.509 billion. Here's total revenue. Total revenue is 24,921,816. Cost of revenues, energy and hosting and other was 16,684,759. That equates to a profit margin of about 33% on it, from what I calculated here. So cost of revenue is basically 66% based on these numbers here. So not very good. Obviously, we want to see this improve, and hopefully it does going forward. But we'll see. The tough part with using hosting providers is you're also going to be paying out more in electricity, hosting, everything else than you normally would if you had your own facilities, like some of the other miners. Operating expenses, impairment of digital assets. Obviously, that was a drawdown of 127 million, and net loss per share, basic and diluted, was $1.75. So pretty big increase here. 6 months, they're down $1.93. And 3 months ended last year, they were at $1.09 compared to $1.75 down this year. So a lot of losses there, which isn't good. We obviously want to see growth, and we're not seeing it with Marathon. So my advice is be careful with this one. Obviously, if they can execute on all of this, then they might be in a good position. But right now, they've been having trouble. So let's go back to my sheet. I think this is everything that I wanted to cover. Yep. And that is everything I wanted to cover. And here's what we got on Marathon. Minor comparison. Okay. So like I said, total current assets is 362 million roughly. Total current liabilities is 90 million for Marathon. Current ratio is obviously 4, which is good, meaning that they have enough assets right now to basically pay off their current liabilities 4 times over. Total liabilities is 759 million. Total equity is 659. So debt to equity ratio is 1.152, which isn't too bad. We'd want to obviously see that. I believe we want to see that lower, if I'm not mistaken, on this one. Excuse me. And current assets and total liabilities is so total current assets minus total liabilities is a negative 397 million. So obviously this is a concern, seeing that they might not have enough funds to pay for all the total current liabilities. So them, Core Scientific, we're still obviously waiting for Core to provide it. Who else is in this boat? Stronghold, Greenedge, Mawson is obviously in this boat, and Luxfolio as well. They are the ones that are a little bit more in debt than others in this group here. All right. So I think that should do it. Cleanspark we'll go over tomorrow, like I said. One other news for Cleanspark. Cleanspark, I almost forgot about this. Cleanspark requires plug-in ready Bitcoin mining facility scalable to 86 megawatts or 2.6 exahash. So this is the facility here that they're buying. Here's the nice news on it. So today announced that it has entered into a definitive agreement to acquire an active Bitcoin mining facility located in Washington, Georgia for $16.2 million. The company has also purchased approximately 3,400 of the latest generation Antminer S19 series of machines for approximately $8.9 million. That equates to about $2,617 per machine, which is a really good price. Obviously, these machines were going for around $11,000 last year. So that's a really good deal. These machines already operating at the acquired site will add over 340 petahashes per second of computing power. So yeah, they're about 100 terahash per miner. The company will fill the balance of the 36 megawatts with machines already paid and on hand. The site has exclusive rights to an additional 15 megawatts of power, making the site scalable to 86 megawatts, which is really good. And the company expects to close on the transaction within the next 30 days, subject to customary closing conditions. So if that does happen within the next 30 days, obviously in August, we'll have another increase of 340 petahash added to it, and then hopefully other miners getting installed as well. So that's it. A lot going on, and a lot going on in my life too, trying to get everything done for you guys here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. So like I said, tomorrow we'll go over Cleanspark report. DMG also, I think it was DMG that provided their update on Twitter. So we'll take a look at those numbers tomorrow as well, and we'll see what else happens and who else provides any financial updates or anything like that for the last quarter. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great one. Also, spreadsheets are also, I can't speak. The spreadsheet is always available to my Patreon members. Thank you to all my patrons for their support there. And I'm starting to lose my voice. I don't know why. I think I'm coming down with something, which isn't good. So that's it. Hope you guys have a great one. I'll see you in the next one.